Greetings everyone and welcome back to the show, A Bowl of Noodles with me, Big John. Now for those of you who are new to this is absolutely 100% not a mukbang video. This show is all things noodles, all things branding, all things marketing and all things culture. Now, I typically start off this show, of course, with a bowl of noodles. Today's noodles is a Hokkien Mee, as you can see from my sign. And it was ordered via Grab from a place called Kim Lee something seafood or whatever it is, right? Before I give you my noodle lesson for this episode, let me just give this a taste. Now, that's pretty good. The noodles actually arrived at my place piping hot, right? I was holding the plastic, was, I got burned. But right balance of sauce. Again, as with most noodles, right? Noodle ingredients and dishes, they're all pretty simple. Now, I chose this one, Hokkien Mee, because if you don't know, I'm actually half Chinese. So yeah, of course, I love my Chinese food, right? So a couple of blokes, right? A couple of guys came from China some decades ago and they worked as coolies at a warehouse. So what they actually did was they found some leftover produce, leftover product, and they wanted to cook something. They were trying to survive, right? They were trying to cook something for themselves and share with their colleagues. Now, the lesson to learn from that is, the idea was so simple, right? Just take whatever they had and cook. It was survival. And that was the most important thing for them. And so the lesson that you take from the Hokkien Mee, the humble Hokkien Mee, is that no matter how small your setup is, how simple your setup is, how cheap your setup is, it does not stop you from going out there to build that brand. Every brand, starts from very humble beginnings, and no one, starts off with, some office high up, in Marina Bay Sands or something. Yep. So remember this lesson. Remember the Hokkien Mee and how it started, and that could be the journey that your brand is starting on. So that's the noodle tip for today. Now, I'm going to start off this particular episode with something that's really close to my heart and yet a pain in the ass at the same time. I get a lot of questions from people asking me, hey, Big John, how do I handle my family business? Now, I've been asked a few questions, and some of the questions include, do I try to get as many family members involved as possible? How do I handle giving out roles that would seem fair, to my family members? Or how do you get rid of underperforming family members? Or is it even a good idea to be bringing in so many family in? Now, many business owners start their companies, out of dreams. They have ambition, and of course this necessity that they have and wanting to pass down something to their children, their offspring, and down the line it goes. Now, when it comes to your offspring, they perhaps are easier to manage. As of course, if you have only a couple of kids, 1-2 kids, that's fine. The thing with family businesses is that it gets passed down even beyond that. I see uncles, cousins, aunties, and everyone's involved in the mix. So, just think about it. A bowl of noodles and you pour too much soup in, right? It just spoils everything too much, right? So my advice is this, and some of you out there might not agree with me at all, but of course these are based on experiences I've heard, from other bosses and of course personal experiences as well. So if you hate on me for this, that's okay. Now, these are some of the things that you should be considering. Number one, of course there are more than this, but I'm picking out the main 4 points right now. Number one, accept that not everyone is cut out for business. And some of the people and family members you bring in, right, they might be brilliant, but others might be as useful as a brick in the sea. So either you try to nurture some of those good points, that you see, and nurture it from a very early stage, right? Make sure that they grow in the role and they are able to perform. If not, and you see that progress is not there, maybe perhaps it's time to decide who you are going to be handing over the business to when you retire instead of seeing everything crumble to the ground. Number two, never ever give anyone a free pass to the top. They should start from the very bottom and learn from the people on the ground. You built the business. You built the business from the ground up. So it's successful because of you and all the suffering that you had to put in. Don't forget that. Now, number 3. If you are already facing such a thing, you might need to move your family members, move people around to keep them happy, but out of trouble and away from important decisions. Now, I suggest this role for them. I suggest the role of the CEO or the Chief Entertainment Officer. Good role, they're out of trouble, out of sight, out of mind, and you keep all the family happy in some sense, right? Number 4, and I think this is the most important because I see it happening too often. Always be careful not to piss off the non-family employees. They are working just as hard as everyone else, if not more. If something is not tolerated from one group, don't assume the other side will smile and get on with it. You will. I guarantee you, you will see your very best people, not family members, walk out. Now, very recently, back to the stories of social media again, Airasia found themselves in some very pleasant conversations with their customers over Twitter. And it's pretty much a pool of shit that they stirred for themselves. Now, people get emboldened by negative responses, meaning one person is pissed off, he posts something or she posts something, and everyone, the floodgates open and everyone just follows through. So be careful what you post. It started quite innocent. It's quite maybe quite nice in that sense. They asked in this tweet, "Oh, what can you advise first-time flyers?" Now, Airasia recently there was a lot of problems with it, right? Especially during the pandemic. We are still in the pandemic now, but over the last couple of years, over cancelled flights, poor customer service, no hotline to reach out to, people are not getting refunded or refunded in Airasia dollars or whatever it is. So people are pissed off. There are enough people out there who are pissed off about this thing. So unfortunately, right, for the poor digital marketing executive responsible for this, the responses came in, and they included, if you can fly, avoid flying with Airasia at all costs. Or I saw the other one, don't fly Airasia unless you really have no choice. Like really no choice. And my favorite, don't fly with Airasia. If Airasia is your last choice, use a train, ship or submarine instead. Now, Airasia is big, right? So that means you don't have much in terms of choice. But if your business is one that, an alternative can be easily found, you can be easily replaced, you've got to be really careful about being too smart on social media. Now, this probably is also a digital marketing team that has been really pressured to go out and engage. But this thing about engagement, sometimes it's really not necessary, and do, have a look around and see what's being said about your company before you unleash something like that. Tea Live has been voted Malaysia's most trusted bubble tea brand in the bubble tea category, based on a survey conducted by Reader's Digest among 8,000 consumers across 5 regional markets. Now, I have to say, I love Tea Live. Of course, I don't take it too much now. I'm cutting down on sugar, but I love this brand. Now, these are the guys that came up with the really outrageous, delicious Onde Onde bubble tea. Jeez. And did something else insanely delicious with Kit Kat in their bubble tea. Interesting, right? Go and look them out. It's not available in Singapore, sadly, right? So when are you guys coming to Singapore? I'm sick of all the on sale here. Anyway, congratulations on the fantastic job all you guys are doing. Now, Tea Leaf now has, hundreds of stores and counting. So Loop Holding Sindiran Berhad founder and CEO Brian Lu said this at a gala dinner recently. This is testimony that Malaysians can create world-class products, which is why we are a brand that's born in Malaysia, raised for the world. Oh, that's so nice, right? It gets you all high. Woo! This honor has motivated us to innovate more to win every appetite with our extensive menu. They have lots of different bubble tea flavors, so go and really try it. So more power to the Asian brand. Now elevating something that was really becoming boring, right? So many bubble tea places around, but how are we going to do things differently? But these guys managed to do it. in some, and they created some really awesome products. So really, take my money, and my doctor can too when he checks my blood sugar levels. Now, this is really one of the brands I've been absolutely very, very impressed with. Now, it might be very easy for some of you to steal candy from a baby, but apparently it's more serious when it involves a balloon. A financial planner found herself surrounded by hot air, joke there, when she took away a cute penguin balloon that was just given to a little girl during a roadshow. Now, that's because the reason for taking away that balloon was because the parent did not fit the profile as a customer. This is what the parent claimed. I'm not taking sides here at this point, but I cannot imagine the horror at that moment where, give me back that balloon, and the kid probably started crying, or maybe was just like staring like what, yum yum yum, right? But if it was my daughter, she'd be screaming already. Now, this had forced AIA to make an apology after this balloon fiasco, was shared on social media platforms over 2,500 times as of last writing, right? So AIA said, "We are sorry for the unpleasant experience. We have counseled the representatives involved in this incident. We have reiterated our roadshow guidelines to all our representatives and are working closely with them to ensure they adhere to the highest standards of professionalism." Of course, the highest standards of professionalism, right? Should we be expecting anything less? Of course not. So this is what basically AIA said. I wanted to say SIA, but AIA said. And of course, other agents also weighed in on this topic, to share, please, be a bit more understanding, right? The costs are going up because of the pandemic and things like that. There's a increased cost of running road shows. We are stressed and everything. But, I'm not here to slag off the agent or any other agent out there, right? But I'm talking about marketing budgets. This is what you have to think. You set it, right? You set a budget and you burn it, and that's it. That's the end of the game. So I think if better planning had been put in place, right, to make these considerations, then it would have been a better outcome. So the only way to see a bigger return on your marketing, of course, is to make sure that those deals are closed. But whatever that you have set aside, you cannot be taking back your marketing budget from, each and every person, every balloon. I mean, I'm very sure that might not have been the only case. Who knows? I'm just speculating here. But I'm sure that more than one balloon was taken away during that time. So yeah, set your marketing budget, burn it. You're not going to see it again, but make it count, through those sales channels that you have. As well, kind of think of it like football. You don't get a footballer going up to the goal, taking a shot, and then going, "Oh, I missed that. Can I do it again?" You're not gonna get that chance, buddy. So yeah, remember that point. So remember to support my next bowl of noodles by liking and subscribing to this channel. Now remember, it's time to steam up that brand of yours. Keep it hot, keep it fresh, or go stale and die. This is Big John signing off.